In a moment, we will return to the deserts of approaching the halfway point, and the desert continues to cast a huge shadow. Yesterday saw dramatic changes atop the leaderboards. What surprises lie in store today on the seemingly limitless deserts of northern Africa? Welcome to Granada Dakar 96. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bob Barsha. Welcome to Stage 7 of the 18th running of Granada Dakar, from Zourat down to Attar in Mauritania. A day in the desert. As ever, traveling with the racers, here's Jeremy Hart.
The stage itself fairly short, 365 kilometers, about 200 miles. And it was all changed last night on the leaderboard. Ari Vatanen has dropped back from 1st to 4th overall in the cars after he had a puncture. He couldn't change the wheel on his Citroën, and he had to continue with just a bare rim. Stefan Peter Hansel had a fuel pump problem on his motorbike. He's dropped from 1st to way down the leaderboard. Eddie Orioli now leading in the bikes. So it's all changed.
You're absolutely right, Jeremy. Stage 7 is 227 miles of dust and desert on the special stage or timed race. A total of 230 miles to the remote desert outpost of Attar in central Mauritania.
There's Peter Hansel on his Yamaha. The Yamaha up against the might of the KTM machines from Austria. Peter Hansel doing fantastically on yesterday's stage until just a few kilometers from the end. He took a wrong turning. That's when the fuel pump failed. That's when he lost all chance of the Granada Dakar this year. He's won it 4 times recently. His 5th eluded from him today. The truck's still going strong. The Tatras, the Kamazes, it's Moscovich still leading in his Kamaz from Russia up against the Czech Tatras.
Probably a Dakar win on the stage because we couldn't change the front wheel. The nut was just seized. So one can expect all kind of things in Dakar, but not such a thing that you cannot change a wheel.
For Ari Vatanen, possible end to his victory hopes in the Granada Dakar, as he explained.
For me, I was going into this race with a lot of hopes for having a good result because of last year, of course, and I'm, of course, very disappointed now.
We've got to the stage in the rally now where the mechanical parts of the cars are beginning to give up the ghost, the strain paying not only on the human side but also on the mechanical side as well. The bikes, the cars, the trucks not liking the punishment they're getting. That's even the case for the top teams like Mitsubishi and Citroën, Yamaha and KTM.
So there have been some significant retirements in the rally's first half, and not surprisingly, they have come in the motorcycle.
Continues Wednesday, live on ESPN.
Welcome back to continuing coverage of the Granada Dakar Rally 1996. Here's a look at our standings in the automobile category after 6 stages. Longtime race leader Ari Vatanen suffered mechanical problems in the desert and dropped to 4th behind Pierre Lartigue and Jean-Pierre Fontenay. Back to the desert.
Second from the right in that little group of Mitsubishi drivers sat there was Jean-Pierre Fontenay, for whom today was a disastrous day. More of that in a minute. Jérôme Rivière driving one of the SsangYong team cars from Korea. The Frenchman very lucky to survive an accident a few days ago. He's now got problems with his engine and says he can't wait to get to Zourat for the rest day. Because if he gets there, they can fix the engine, and the second half of the rally is all his. This morning's 365-kilometre stage started through a remarkable amount of greenery for this part of the world, but soon straight into the ergs between Zouarat and Attar, passing the southeasternmost point of Morocco. Mauritania goes way up north, a lot further than you'd think, and down to Attar, really hit the main body of the country. The sand getting a lot softer, and Fontenay, who won yesterday's stage and started today's stage, really the only man capable of beating the Citroëns, set off at an incredible pace. The former support driver for the Mitsubishi team, now one of their top drivers, former winner of the Australian Safari a couple of years ago, one of France's top cross-country rally drivers. We hear the voice of his co-driver Bruno Musmara. The added advantage of spending so long as support drivers for the team is that they have an incredible knowledge of the mechanics of their car. Fontenay passed by one of the Citroëns on top of an erg. Then foot flat to the floor. I knew that was going to be difficult to say. That's Pierre Lartigue, rally leader at the moment, taking over from Vatanen yesterday after Vatanen's puncture, and then subsequent inability to change the punctured wheel. The problems, though, for Fontenay started today a third of the way through the stage when he broke a ball joint. That's part of the suspension on his Mitsubishi Pajero. Kenjiro Shinazuka, who had mechanical problems a few days ago, obliged to stop and help Fontenay, although not keen at all to hand over any part of his 100% okay Mitsubishi Pajero, but finally willing to hand over his ball joint to Fontenay. It sounds all very technical, but basically giving up his chance today so that Fontenay might keep up the attack against the Citroëns ahead. Fontenay today lost almost 2 hours with this problem. He's dropped back to 6th overall, and he managed only 13th fastest on today's stage, won by 2:03, Ari Vatanen and Gilles Picard. Vatanen loves these kind of stages, although it was at this point last year that he crashed out on very similar dunes. He nosedived into a dune, damaged the radiator, couldn't get it changed, and retired from the rally. But Vatanen making a charge. His win today takes him back from 4th to 3rd overall. He's still an hour and a half behind rally leader Pierre Lartigue, and between them, sandwiching the two, Philippe Wamberg.
Well, we were behind Pierre Lartigue in the dunes, and just really at the very last difficult dune, the steering wheel swung around and dislocated Philippe's left thumb, which started waggling about in the glove. It looked pretty unpleasant. And amazingly, about a kilometre later, there was a medical helicopter, so we stopped, and the guy proceeded to relocate the thumb, at which point I had to close the intercom because of the screams that were coming down it. But amazingly, it clicked back into place, and he continued as if it hadn't happened.
Well, Fred Gallagher explaining on behalf of Philippe Wamberg, who we see now, because the Frenchman doesn't speak English, that, and there's the offending thumb, it popped out as the steering wheel spun round in the soft sand. Out it came, and the rest is as Fred Gallagher explained. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed. Despite that painful dislocation, Philippe Wamberg managed to finish 3rd on the day's stage behind Ari Vatanen and Bruno Sabi, who himself has made a remarkable comeback from a savage roll in the desert a couple of stages ago. In the overall standings, it is Lartigue, Wamberg, and Vatanen as Citroën continues to lead 1, 2, and 3, while the Japanese Masuoka, basically a backup driver for Mitsubishi, has now surged to the fore as his teammates have dropped back. We'll be back in a moment with the trucks.